Well, Tom, here's
one comeback.
Here's an even more devastating stat for Bill Walton. The team that's won, the first team that's won consecutive games has won a 7-game series 95% of the time. So I don't know what the New York Knicks are going to do.
The Knicks have to ride this great raucous crowd who's here for a celebration, who's here trying to coronate their Knicks one more time. It's going to come from offense, though. It's going to take some unlikely hero, one of the role guys, like Larry Johnson, like Chris Childs, like Charlie Ward. They've had their moments over the last couple weeks, but they need it again today.
Dan Crawford, Jack Neese, Bob Delaney, the officials for Game 3. The Pacers control the opening tap.
What Indiana has to do is move the ball quicker. And right away, they find a wide-open Reggie Miller for 3.
Did anybody hear that Reggie Miller was here today? How can you forget him all alone in the corner?
That's a really good strategy. Double-team Dale Davis at the foul line and leave Reggie Miller open at the three-point line.
The hero of Game 2 for New York was Larry Johnson, and he did a lot of that, except he was scoring the ball. He's got to still look to penetrate.
Latrell Sprewell with New York's first bucket. So each team making its first shot, a three-pointer by Miller of Indiana.
Good sign for Sprewell, playing with a severely bruised left thigh. Hampers his mobility to a great detriment.
Rick Smith pounding against Chris Dudley, banging him out of the way and pounding the ball off the glass.
And that's not a good sign for the New York Knicks. If he's stumbling and fumbling his way to a hoop, he could be in for a big, big first quarter, and that could set a tough tone for the Knicks.
A lot of standing, no movement when the ball starts going through the legs.
Larry Johnson, off the dribble, gets his first bucket of the game.
Now remember, part of their strategy is to go to Larry Johnson because he's really their best low post stretch. So he's just got to make a decision a little bit earlier, but he's beat Dale Davis almost every time in Game 2 in that situation.
Reggie Miller lost it out of bounds. Jeff Van Gundy saying with Patrick Ewing out of the lineup, their primary post-up player becomes Larry Johnson.
But Larry Bird telling us also that he's not going to double-team Larry Johnson. He doesn't feel that Larry Johnson can beat them, particularly with Dale Davis and his all-star level defense over the top of Larry Johnson.
There's LJ again. That's the first miss by either team, as Dale Davis follows down the rebound and gets it to Reggie Miller.
But if you can make Larry Johnson a shooter instead of a passer, you're much better off trying to beat the Knicks. Oh, tough offensive foul against Smits. Bird cannot believe it.
Wipe out the basket. Rick Smits with a determined drive, get out of the way, because he wasn't stopping.
Yeah, he was like an 18-wheeler, and he had decided, I'm coming to the rim, I don't care who's there, and hope that I get the call. And you've got to protect Rick Smits, because if he gets one, he can get 3 that quickly.
Little guys running underneath your legs. What's that about? It's the playoffs.
Allen Houston, his matchup with Reggie Miller will be key to the game. Got to the rim and then missed.
Yeah, Houston and Van Gundy livid because it should have been a goaltend.
That's not a goaltend. That's a great block by Dale Davis. Allen Houston spins to the baseline. Dale Davis comes from the right of your screen, takes it off the board, goaltending.
I thought that was a great block.
If the ref didn't call it the first time, it is a great block.
So goaltending, credit the basket to Allen Houston, his first. And New York leads by 1.
You can see that Allen Houston's left ankle is bothering him so much. No lateral mobility or explosiveness.
Nice ball movement by the Pacers, but finally they have to settle for a Smits outside shot. The movement was good. The shot selection not so good. The ball movement didn't get him any closer to the rim. Sprewell ducks under and scores.
This matchup, Jalen Rose, Latrell Sprewell, dynamic, vibrant. Can Sprewell, though, bring it through the entire 4 quarters, something he's not been able to do the early 2 games of this series.
Jackson for 3. The former Knick can't hit, but Davis has the rebound, and Rose attempts a 3. Chris Dudley with the board.
Well, remember in Game 1 where the Knicks got an advantage was early offense, and they trying to establish it here. Sprewell
for 3. Latrell Sprewell was 7 points early. New York has hit 5 of their 6 shots, and Sprewell is 3 for 3. Smith. Ward to Sprewell.
Get out of his way.
First miss for Luttrell.
Well, Sprewell is streaky, and, you know, particularly from deep, he's much better and more dangerous when he gets to 15 feet and then pulls up to look for that jump shot.
Miller came off the screen. The pass was there, but so was Allen Houston to prevent the shot. Smits taking the majority of Indiana's shots early, and that one goes down as 4th point.
That's their strategy, though. Get Smits going early. He doesn't play the full game. Plays mostly in the start of each half, and then if he's hot playing well, he'll get the 4th quarter minutes.
Knicks by 4. Houston posting up against Miller.
Houston is shooting the better percentage between himself and Miller, but Houston has taken himself out of games 1 and 2 with severe foul problems. He's got to move his feet. That's where he was struggling in both the first and second games.
Smits misses that one, and Sprewell with a long rebound.
Pacer big man not taking advantage of Ewing's absence. They're standing and playing on the perimeter. Pounded inside. They're shorthanded. Get him in foul trouble, the Knicks.
Sprewell had Dudley on the wing for that break. Didn't get it to him, and they end up turning it over.
Well, his choices were look for somebody to score it or possibly a turnover. I mean, when Dudley's in the game, what you want Dudley is on the offensive glass, trying to put it back in. If you let him try to make a primary offensive move, you're probably going to see it go sailing in the stand.
You're not going to start denigrating Chris Dudley's offensive capabilities, are you? Please.
They're on record.
Rose can't hit the open shot. Loose ball foul called on New York. 6:52 left, opening quarter of game 3. New York with the early lead, up 4 on the Pacers. Offense for the Pacers, the object is to get him involved in the game early, and it's been successful through the series. He's taken 5 shots already.
Well, the reason that they like to get Rick Smits involved early, he's an offensive player, and his whole production rests on how well he's going to play at the offensive end. If he's scoring, he'll rebound better, he'll block a few shots, he might even make a good pass or two, but if he's not scoring, he may as well sit down.
He had a tremendous finish to game 2, and some slam dunks, some much needed back to the basket offense. Rick Smits allows them to play a different type of game. Oh, make a shot wide open.
He's 2 of 6. The rest of the team is 1 of 4.
You don't think the Pacers are overconfident with Ewing sitting down, are they?
Not if they saw what Canby did to him last year as Charlie Ward hits his first shot.
And Charlie Ward has had a difficult time against Mark Jackson. Jackson basically has been able to dominate him, so that's a big hoop for Charlie Ward and his confidence at the offensive end.
Dale Davis.
That's much better defense for New York. Double team Reggie, make him pass to Dale Davis, who's not going to make that 18-foot jumper with consistency.
Rick Smits knocking the ball out of bounds. Let's check in with Jim Gray.
Well, Tom, you guys are talking about Patrick Ewing. I spoke to Larry Bird before the game, and he said he would prefer to see Patrick play, that he deserves a chance. He's sorry that he doesn't have the ability right now to compete for a championship, and that he would like to see him out on the court because it's very tough to be hurt all the time, particularly as you grow older. They became very close during the 1992 Olympics in the Dream Team, so he's really feeling pretty bad for a former teammate. Tom?
All right, there's Rick Smits at it again. The jump hook goes for Rick. He has a half-dozen points and still taking the majority of Indiana's shots. He's put up 7.
Well, Bird knows more than most about pain. He's playing with 2 12-inch steel rods in his back. His back was fused at the end of his career. Numerous operations on his feet and ankles.
Houston right by 3 Pacer players finally challenging the 7-footer Smits to get his 4th point.
That is the one thing that the Pacers haven't been good at in terms of shutting down ball movement, player movement for the New York Knicks.
Low post. Chris Dudley with hands all over Rick Smits commits his first foul.
Allen Houston has not been able to do this because he's been on the bench, but early he is determined to get to the rim and make some sort of impact on the defense of Reggie Miller.
Miller off a screen, fires and hits. Nobody better than that. The quick catch and shoot off the screen by Reggie Miller. He has 5.
The difference between Allen Houston this year and last year, though, the immobility due to that badly sprained ankle. Just can't chase Reggie down. Last year, video after video, Allen Houston denying. Charlie Ward answering right back.
Ward penetrates and goes to the left hand for his 4th point, and the lead back to 6 for New York.
guy that hasn't had many opportunities, and they got to look to him at some point, is Jalen Rose. Rose took that early three-pointer and hasn't been involved in the offense since then. Davis against the clock.
One to shoot. Jackson got it away, missed the three-pointer. Dudley one-hands the rebound, and here's Sprewell. Larry Johnson on the low post. Ducks under, left hand hook, and Larry Johnson scores again off that low post. He has 4 points.
Johnson was huge, had 17 or 18 points. Offensive foul. Charlie Ward suckers the referees into calling that tough call.
Ran into a wall.
Yeah,
Dale Davis.
Larry Johnson was huge in the first half in game 2. Pacers can live with the left-handed runner. Dale Davis is standing here. Just because a man runs into you, it doesn't mean it's a foul on you.
It gives the ball to New York as we see Kurt Thomas for the first time, and returning the favor, Latrell Sprewell called for an illegal screen, and that's his first foul. Give it back to Indiana.
Intelligent play is what hurt the New York Knicks in closing them out. They got to play smart basketball. When they get a break like they just had, they can't return the favor and just turn it over.
That wasn't a mascara call, was it, Steve?
What is that?
He's going to explain.
The makeup call.
Oh. We're just your straight men, Bill. Rick Smith has 8. Smith has hit 4 of his 8 shots so far.
But they've had Smith shooting a lot of deep jump shots. Deep jump shot by Houston.
Oh. And Allen Houston answers the three-pointer. He's hit 3 of his first 4 shots, and he has 7 points.
Stepping back, the coil, virtually unstoppable when he gets that kind of rhythm, Allen Houston.
Smith.
Oh.
Tell you, they got the Duncan Dutchman going now. He's got 10 here in the first quarter, and he's going to be a problem for them unless he gets in foul trouble the rest of this ball game.
But to watch Mark Jackson with the wraparound post feed, beautiful.
Houston has had the best of Miller so far.
Baseline was open, and you see the result.
Allen Houston has 9.
Knicks are a quicker team today. All the opportunities they're creating. Pacers are trying to be plodding and methodical.
Smith's got the roll off the front of the rim. A dozen points for Rick Smiths as he and Houston carrying on an individual scoring battle. Houston has 9 for New York, and the lead cut to 7.
Yeah, Knicks have better balance. The Indiana Pacers only have 2 guys scoring. Form a 1-2 punch of Miller and Smith. Sprewell.
Partially blocked by Rose, out of bounds to Indiana. Well, Rick Smiths, the Duncan Dutchman, is carrying the offensive load for the Indiana Pacers, taking it to the rim, hitting from outside. Smiths started hitting 2 of 6. He's hit his last 4 in a row, but Indiana still trails New York.
Back at Madison Square Garden, I'm Jim Gray. Rick Smith's having a very big first quarter. Rick Smith's almost didn't play this year. He suffered his whole career with a lot of pain in his feet. Maybe because he wasn't wearing the right shoes. One thing led to another. It's just been miserable for him since the 1980s. Until this summer, Larry Bird, former massage therapist with the Boston Celtics, a guy named Dan Dyrick, got in touch with him. He worked with him to break up all of the scar tissue that was keeping Smith's toes stuck together. Smith said it was a very, very painful process, but it's really improved quite a bit. It's gotten much more bearable, and he's able to stay in the game and play. This could extend his career, Bill.
Well, he also wears special socks provided to him by T.C. Cochran out of Lynchburg, Virginia, that are very comfortable.
Special socks.
Absolutely.
What do they have in them?
They're very soft. For people who have painful feet, they need soft socks.
Charlie Ward with a soft shot that won't go down, and Austin Crozier, who replaces Rick Smiths for Indiana, gathers in the rebound. Smiths has hit 6 of his 10 shots, 12 points. Reggie Miller's 2 for 2. The other members of the Pacers have gone 0 for 5, so nobody has scored other than Smiths or Miller.
Nice pass.
Jackson leaves it for Davis, who pounds it home. Mark Jackson, beautiful assist. First bucket for Davis.
Consistency for Mark Jackson, a much needed factor for Larry Bird. Needs to get in that paint, needs to draw other guys to set up the finishers, Crozier, Dale Davis, Smits.
Allen Houston short on that one. Davis gathers in another rebound, his fifth.
Flawless defense that time by Reggie Miller.
Charlie Ward strips Mark Jackson. Lead pass to Sprewell. He has Houston. And they mishandled the break. They will get it back after it was deflected out of bounds.
Well, Allen Houston didn't continue all the way in. He thought Sprewell was going to go, and he gave him a lane, and then all of a sudden Sprewell in the air decided, here, Allen, you finished the play. They're lucky to get it back.
Crozier has to have a much better game. 0 for 8 in game 2 after phenomenal performance, career best performance, 22 in game 1.
Allen Houston has to make a decision a little bit earlier, and he's going to get an easier shot. The last 2 times he's held the ball, he's gone in the wrong direction, and that's allowed Reggie Miller to.
Jackson puts up a prayer with the time running out in the first quarter, but New York, for most of the quarter, shooting over 70%, has the first period lead. At the end of 1 in game 3, it's the New York Knicks 24 and the Indiana Pacers. And here after the first quarter in game 3, the Knicks leading 24-19, shooting 58% in that first quarter despite missing their last 4 field goal attempts of the period. They led by as many as 9. The Pacers had a brief 3-point lead early.
But the Knicks have controlled how this game is going to be played. They have been quicker to the ball. Now they bring in Marcus Camby for the first time. Larry Johnson been effective in the low post. Sprewell has had his way. Now they've got Chris Childs playing with a very sore knee in the lineup. Their goal to keep Indiana in the 80s. They're on that pace now.
You know, Allen Houston out of the ball game. Sprewell stays, got hit by Smits and no call. And they're going to try to attack Reggie Miller, get some fouls on him, not have to deal with them here in the first half, possibly early in the third quarter.
Travis Best, Derek McKee, Austin Crozier, Rick Smits, and Reggie Miller for Indiana. And Rick Smits continues his offensive devastation of the Knicks.
The execution has just been flawless. The back cut. Rick Smits likes to pop to the baseline for that shot, but when the screen was there, all the Knicks anticipated Rick going to the corner. They just back cut him there for the wide open layup. Chris Childs forced to foul him.
3-point play by Rick Smits, who has 15 here in the first half. New York with Chris Childs, Marcus Camby, Kurt Thomas, Larry Johnson, and Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, Smits has done his job. He's kept them in the ball game. It's a 2-point game. Sprewell, Larry Johnson have to reignite. 10 on the clock.
Stagnation for the Knicks. Somebody come and help Sprewell with the ball.
Kurt Thomas with 3 to shoot puts up a bad-looking shot, and Indiana with a chance to tie or take the lead.
The Pacers this year have shown that they can win big games on the road. They can win under hostile conditions. Milwaukee and Philadelphia.
Reggie Miller turns and fires. Back tapped by Smits. Travis Best missing, and Larry Johnson hauls it down for the Knicks.
Travis Best, the hero of game 5 against Milwaukee in round 1, the clinching game. Been struggling the first 2 games of this series.
Different matchup for Larry Johnson against Derek McKee, trying to power his way in. Block.
Smits came to help and got a piece of it. Indiana comes away with it. Hit Travis Best into front court.
Johnson lost his balance.
Smits trailing the play, pops in another. 17 for Rick Smits.
And that brings Jalen Rose up off the bench in exaltation, saying, finally somebody else doing something. I can have a poor game and the team can survive.
Well, you know, the Indiana Pacers talk a lot about being egoless. They don't care who does it as long as someone steps up. So it's been Rick Smits, and all of his teammates applaud him. Kurt Thomas was real good in the closing moments of game 2. 0 for 2 early.
That's the 8th straight shot that New York has missed. And Indiana looks to take the lead.
But Indiana is not Miami. They don't go into these long droughts like
beautiful.
Smits did everything but finish that one. He got right to the rim.
Nice closeout defense, Derek McKee.
McKee known for his defensive prowess. Reggie Miller now matched up with Larry Johnson to see if they try to post Johnson against Miller. Couldn't get it to him.
Johnson does not like to work on this side of the floor.
And he's fouled as he takes it to the rim. Austin Crozier and Larry Johnson and Crozier squaring off. Somebody's been teed up. I'm not sure if it's LJ or Crozier. I think it's Crozier.
Larry Bird can't believe it if it's Austin Crozier.
So Latrell Sprewell will shoot the technical.
The hard foul was by Austin Crozier, no question about that. But what happened afterward is Larry Johnson came right back and got in Crozier's face. Looked as if the initial contact after the foul was instigated by Larry Johnson. Austin Crozier, the hard foul there. Then Larry Johnson comes, elbow, another elbow, shoulder, and they called a technical foul on Austin Crozier. Go figure. You explain that one, Steve.
Mascara.
That stops a 9-0 Indiana run. And with 9:15 left till halftime, the Knicks are up 1.
Shining fall here in New York, and that's what they hope for today. And you'll find out about officiating with this call.
The Pacers are all too familiar with.
And after the call, Dan Crawford explaining it as he discussed it with Bob Delaney, Travis Best, and Larry Johnson. Here's what he said.
Larry, that wasn't necessary. Come on out. Wasn't necessary. You got it, Travis. Thank you.
Dan Crawford saying, Larry, that wasn't necessary, but Crozier got the technical foul.
I like the last part, Travis Best. If it wasn't necessary, how about a double foul?
Johnson's free throw gives the Knicks a 2-point edge as Crozier was teed up.
You know, I think
Sprewell hit the tee.
Tom, I think what the officials want to try to do is establish some sort of control for any kind of physical activity. And Crozier is a very young and aggressive player, and I don't think that they're going to let him get loose today.
Larry Johnson with 6 points as the Knicks scoring at the free throw line. They've missed their last 8 field goal attempts.
Serious questions about this unit for New York. They're getting points. With Travis Best continuing to misfire from the perimeter, no real need.
It's been over 5 minutes since the Knicks have gotten a field goal. We told you they've missed 8 in a row, and Camby travels as he falls down awkwardly. Yeah,
he slapped in that knee that he hurt, and it slipped. You know, his foot when he planted, and he's just laying there.
Not a good sign.
That's all the Knicks need is another injury.
Marcus Camby, it was mid-season. Just keeps sliding. It was that right knee that he hurt against Miami mid-season. That's the one that goes out from underneath him.
We'll take a break while they
telling Mike as he was leaving the court that he just can't put any weight on it. When we have something more, we'll get it to you. Tom?
All right, thanks, Jim. Allen Houston has replaced Marcus Camby. So New York very small right now. And who will defend Rick Smith? Kurt Thomas is going to try, but there's Travis Best. Called for steps, and Indiana turns it over.
Well, the one thing that Van Gundy and the Knicks have prided themselves on is mental toughness and resiliency, and we'll find out whether they can take this latest blow, but they had good rotation defensively on that first stand without Camby.
So many years at the top, though, competing for the ultimate prize. Elusive so far. Question is, has time finally caught up with this Knicks team?
Well passed up an easy shot.
But made another one. He doesn't like easy. He has double figures, Latrell Sprewell. Indiana's Rick Smith's the game's top scorer with 17.
With the Knicks so small, so short-handed, why are the Pacers standing on the perimeter? Take it inside, get to the foul line.
Travis Best, 15-foot jump shots. That's his first bucket. And Indiana again within 3.
Yeah, if they turn Best loose and he gets aggressive offensively, you're going to look for a guy to get in the middle and score some points, create havoc.
Well, they built a fence around Johnson when he got the ball inside. Sprewell challenging Smith, leaves Kurt Thomas open. He can't hit it. And Austin Crozier hit it last as he and Larry Johnson were battling for the rebound. New York ball.
Austin Crozier seems to have taken a bath in his press clippings after game one. Getting out rebounded by someone who you got 3 inches in height on. Got much greater jumping ability.
Allen Houston. So only the second field goal by New York this quarter, and Houston has 11. He's 5 of 8.
Jalen Rose, a different defender for Allen Houston. It gives him more room and uses his ability to react to the ball.
Oh, nice. Smith has got it all going. The footwork, the balance, the determination. Able to carry it over. That's been one of Rick's problems during the course of his career. When the other team doesn't have a dominant center, he has not been able to deliver. Van Gundy's coming with Dudley.
Allen Houston misses that one. Smith's the rebound. Rick at 7'4", and Kurt Thomas at 6'9". Just no way to stop him, especially when he catches the ball within 5 feet of the rim. Here's Crozier.
Crozier is like Smith in that if he gets going offensively, he becomes a Tiger. Should have gotten called for travel that time.
He got away with a walk. Best.
Beautiful passing.
Rose deflected out of bounds. Did Sprewell hit it? No, he did not. New York ball.
One of the things we see time and time again with players is trying to create something offensively without really having a good idea of where you want to go or why before you even take off Sprewell out of the game.
And Chris Dudley in for New York, so you have Dudley and Thomas on the court at the same time. Austin Crozier left for Indiana, replaced by Dale Davis. Houston over Rose. Davis immediately takes the first carom. He has 7 boards.
Pacers' strategy seems to be as Rose connects in the delayed transition, but their strategy appears to be just win this game by attrition. Just wait till enough Knicks finally have to go to the locker room with injuries that there's no one left to even play.
The way it's going, that could happen before about third quarter, it seems.
And Allen Houston has to continue to look at the rim. Nice drive.
There's Childs working his way inside for his first basket.
The off-the-ball defense by Allen Houston, superb.
Houston is moving his feet much better in this game. Smith is wearing them out.
But he's able to get his feet moving. He's not being held in position. He's not got both feet rooted to the floor.
Who's going to help? Who's going to hold him? I mean, there's nobody out there big enough to hold him. He has 21 points. He's hit 10 of 15.
Dudley's a terrific defender.
He is, but, you know, when a guy gets going, it doesn't make any difference what your reputation is. They feel as though they can score any time, and that's that happy feeling that Rick Smith has got now. He's got his hand up all the time. 45 is my number.
Pacers with the ball down 1. Just under 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Pacers with this comeback with Reggie Miller on the bench. It's been Rick Smith that's carried the offense as Chris Dudley is called for the foul.
The footwork to deliver the jump hook. The quick flash from the weak side. Dudley a second late. The hesitation, the little hitch into the middle. That gives you the momentum, the rotation of the upper body to give you the delivery of the jump hook.
Here is Reggie Miller returning to the Indiana lineup.
Some half-hearted boos here.
Well, he hasn't done much. Derek McKee goes out. They haven't needed him today. Reggie with 5 points.
But the crowd seems stunned. First that Ewing's not here at all with the bad foot, and now Marcus can be carried off. Somebody's got to give him a spark to wake everybody up here.
Sprewell's back in as Thomas went out. Shot no good. Chased down by Childs. Rose nearly intercepted the pass to Sprewell, and now Childs backs it out to Latrell. Pull-up shot, good. Latrell Sprewell starting to feel it. He has 12 points. We've seen him get hot. He's one of those streak shooters.
Chris Childs, patient decision-making, willing to just play within the system, let everybody else be the star. He'll bail him out at the end if need be, Childs.
Travis Best for 3. Best hits the three-pointer. He has 5 points, and we're tied at 35. Travis Best, who won the series against the Milwaukee Bucks for Indiana. Sprewell got away from Rose for an instant, and Rose trying to recover. fouled him on the arm for Jalen Rose, number 1.
When Jalen Rose gets himself in trouble defensively, it's because he puts himself in a reacting spot. And most of the time when he stays with either Allen Houston or Sprewell, he's able to make them take tough shots. That time he got beat and then tried to go for a block.
Sprewell with his first free throw. Log on to MSNBCSports.com and click on Showtime Online for in-depth playoff coverage. Bill Walton previews every game. Isaiah Thomas predicts the matchup for the finals. Plus, Matt Guokas and Hannah Storm focus on the Pacers' title hopes. Steve Jones weighs in on whether the Lakers can get past the Blazers. MSNBCSports.com, the official website of NBC Sports. And, of course, congratulations to Isaiah Thomas for his election to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
That was a cinch. That was unanimous. I was a little shocked to see Isaiah on MSNBC.com, though, already give this series to the Pacers. Far from over.
Best splitting defenders lost the ball. And Jack Nees and Bob Delaney coordinate their call and say Indiana's basketball.
15 different officials on this call. Dudley knocked it off, and it looked like it might have gone off Travis Best, so all the officials in white point to their end.
Might have gone off.
Pacers got the ball.
Miller.
The refs obviously had a better angle than straight on.
Kurt Thomas left the game a moment ago. He got hit in the nose. He has a bloody nose. They don't think it's broken. They expect him to return.
How many more injuries can they have?
Well, how many more players do they have? I guess
they got Rick Brunson. They got John Wallace. I'm surprised John Wallace haven't gone any sort of signs or life from John Wallace, as the nose is attended to by legendary trainer Mike Saunders, who's got his hands full.
3 minutes left in the first half. Tied at 35. Travis Best called for the offensive foul as Chris Childs goes flying. Clock shows 2:57. We're 35 apiece. At 35 here, and of course the Knicks know how you can get caught up in that emotion in a contentious series. Some of the Knicks were suspended for leaving the bench during a fight in their series against Miami a couple of years ago.
But as we've seen the Knicks over the last couple of years, I think they've moved beyond that stage in their career. We don't ever really see the threat of violence on the verge of explosion anymore.
Allen Houston attacking Reggie Miller again now. Beautiful shot. Houston pulling up with that soft jumper. He has 13. He's outscored Miller 13-5 in their individual matchup.
And Reggie has not been looking at the rim that much, so you can expect some offensive energy to come from him before this game is over, possibly toward the end of this half.
Now here's Dale Davis, and he scores in tight, so the post-up game with Smits and Davis paying big dividends for Indiana.
Indiana's game plan is to use that size and to punish the Knicks for being small.
And with Dudley having to take full responsibility for Rick Smits, no ability to help from the weak side.
Childs for three.
Just missed.
Inside 2 minutes, first half.
Looking for Jalen Rose against a smaller Child.
And Childs anticipates the pass. Here's Sprewell to Houston.
Exactly what the New York Knicks need. Chris Childs has provided a terrific spark defensively, taking a charge on Travis Best. Then he comes up with a steal, igniting fast break opportunities. Dudley, though, with the foul away from the ball, denying Rick Smits inside.
And the third foul on Dudley.
This is good overplay, and it's just a slow pass, and you watch Childs just step up and make the play, and now they got an easy transition opportunity going because of it.
Dudley to the bench as you look from another angle as Sprewell feeds Houston for the jam. Dudley to the bench, replaced by Kurt Thomas. Chris with 3 fouls.
And Dudley picked up another one, trying to stay in front of Rick Smits and impeding his progress all the way.
Jalen Rose has to learn how to get better when they start denying him the position that he wants.
Jackson for 3. Mark Jackson, with the shot clock ticking down, hits a clutch three-pointer, his first basket of the game. And with a minute left, the Pacers have their first lead since they were up 5-4.
Oh, nice split.
Sprewell gets the soft roll, and he puts New York back on top by 1.
Sprewell's got the bounce to his step. If they can feed off of him and Child's defensive energy, they've got a real chance.
Jalen Rose backing in on Child.
He hurts him when he does this. You know, when he starts backing in, they don't have an answer for stopping him. Houston has problem with him. Sprewell does, and certainly Childs is going to, simply because he's so much bigger. Jalen Rose on the line.
That's what Van Gundy said, is that Jalen Rose in the post-up, Reggie Miller along the baseline, those are the two things we have to deny them. We can take the Pacers' stars out of their game, then that greatly improves our chances of winning.
Tomorrow night, a great lineup headed your way, starting with the No Limits Game Show 21, followed by Dateline NBC. Then George C. Scott and Jack Lemmon star in the Sunday night movie event, Inherit the Wind. All tomorrow night, starting at 7, 6 Central on NBC. Rose connects, and Indiana leads 42-41. Certainly, you mentioned, Bill, that Houston and Sprewell had to deliver. They've done so in the first half. Sprewell with 14, Houston with 15. Here's Latrell missing that shot. Miller chases it down for Indiana.
Play for one if you're the Pacers right now. You've got the lead. Keep the crowd out of it.
Speaking of crowds, you know, the crowd in Indiana was just at a fever pitch for both ball games, and you've only seen it sporadically here from the Knicks fans.
They've had little to cheer about.
Rose blocked by Thomas as the first half comes to an end. Jalen Rose and the Indiana Pacers, trailing by as many as 9, come back to take the halftime lead thanks to the offense. 21 points by Rick Smits. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much. First, the update on Marcus Camby. He is being re-examined right now. They're icing his knee. We'll have more at the end of the half. Rick Smits, a great half for you, 21 points. Do you feel as though with Ewing out and now Camby out that you guys have to swoop in for the kill here in the second half and go up 3-0?
Yeah, definitely. They've been doing a tremendous job countering every shot we make. It's been pretty much exchange up and down the court every time. You know, we really got to try to get build up a little lead.
What has caused you to be so much more aggressive tonight and so active?
Well, I just got off to a good start, and the guys just kept going to me. You know, normally I don't even play in the second quarter, and coach let me in there, and I was able to get some good position down low.
All right, Rick, thank you. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Tom, back over to you.
Okay, Jim, as you can see, Rick Smits with half his team's total, 21 of their 42 points, and Indiana leading New York by 1, 42-41. Now stay tuned for Net Zero at the half, coming up after these messages. You're watching the NBA on...
Right now are not sure what his status will be for the remainder of this series and the season. That will be determined after the MRI. Tom?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. So the New York Knicks trailing 0-2 with Patrick Ewing unable to suit up today. Now lose Marcus Camby. And as we said, Reggie Miller has praised Jeff Van Gundy's ability to adjust. They'll need all that ability, and then some is Charlie Ward. People like Charlie Ward will have to step up. As New York opens up with a bucket in the third quarter, they come with Charlie Ward, Larry Johnson, Latrell Sprewell, Chris Dudley, and Allen Houston, the original starting 5. And the same for Indiana. Miller with the ball here to Smits, who's been hot, Rose, Jackson, and Davis.
Stayed with his own miss, and this is a guy that they cannot get into the ball game. I mean, if the Indiana Pacers get Reggie Miller into the ball game, it's good night New York, and he gets his first 3 again.
Well, and he makes the jumper and looks right down at Spike Lee. But with New York being outshot, out-rebounded, out-assisted, the 3 guys who replace Ewing combined for 0 points, yet they're still within 1 at the half. That's a good sign. They got to sustain some offense. I think that you might want to try John Wallace here if you're Jeff Van Gundy. Get some offense out there.
Outside shot no good from the hand of Jalen Rose into Larry Johnson, who gets it to Charlie Ward. And as you said, Ewing's replacements have not contributed at all, really. Ward penetrates. The floater is short. Got his own. Larry Johnson.
Now here's a guy for New York that really has to play as well in the second half as he did in the second half of game 2. Larry Johnson, he has got to arrive. He's got to make shots, and he's got to make big plays. Foul, Charlie Ward.
The Knicks' defense against high pick and roll is always to have the defender, Chris Dudley, who now picks up his 4th foul.
No, wait, are you still defending Chris Dudley?
Absolutely.
The man's making $5 million, and all he's done is...
7.
All right, Peter Vesey said 5. I don't know which one.
You got to come out and make him turn back. Mark Jackson is never going to beat you with quickness. He beats you with guile, with intelligence, decision making. You got to make him go back the other way. What? Beautiful.
And put in by Dale Davis as Jackson wraps it around to him. Dudley's performance here today with all that money on the line reminds Tom and Steve of someone who joins them courtside.
You know, Jeff Van Gundy has been saying push, push, push every time, but the Knicks have not gotten into a sprint game. Deep shot.
Ward can't hit it. Dale Davis continues to rule the defensive boards. He has 10 rebounds.
They've got to get to Larry Johnson in the low post early in the shot clock so he can become an effective passer and get the other guys involved.
Jackson posting up. Ward managed to deflect it. Shot clock at 3. Jackson misses, and Sprewell has it for New York. They haven't needed the post-up game of Mark Jackson so much today, with Rick Smits going wild inside. There we saw a little taste of it. He couldn't convert. Nice ball fake by Larry Johnson. Let's see if that one counts. On the continuation, you know the story of LJ and continuation.
It's not a happy story for Indiana. But Dale Davis reaches and grabs Larry Johnson, the master of the spectacular.
Does not count. Here's Chris Dudley. Will shoot 2 free throws. Always a highlight of a Knicks game. Let's go back to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. During halftime, Larry Bird told his team, you're 24 minutes away. You've got to put this team away and show a killer instinct. With their people going down, we cannot afford to lose an opportunity like this. Tom?
Well, while you guys are continuing to tease Chris Dudley, and this is a guy who, the only player that I know of in the NBA who plays with diabetes, has to give himself 4 insulin shots a day, plays with numbness running down his legs from spinal injuries, that bulging disc in his back, a guy who gives of his life and his own money to provide free opportunities for similar kids in similar health problems, and he makes both free throws here while you guys were ragging on him.
Well, he does have a lot of money to give. I'll concede that.
And he lives on Windansea Beach in the offseason in San Diego.
Jalen Rose. And Indiana's in danger of losing the lead. Larry Johnson, transition basket for the Knicks. Charlie Ward to LJ.
Well, that combination, Charlie Ward and the opportunistic plays with the passes and Larry Johnson's finishing, has brought the crowd to its feverish pitch of the day.
Allen Houston deflects. Dudley gets it right back to Allen, and then it's Sprewell having to chase it down. Latrell Sprewell, beautiful.
Larry Bird has seen enough. Timeout.
He wants a 20-second timeout, but the defense has become very porous, and the crowd is alive here at the Garden.
Some joy.
Until you talk to Jeff Van Gundy, it's very difficult to appreciate the toughness and the will that he has as a competitor. And he knows that this team can still get in this series. Miller.
For 3. Reggie Miller drains the 3. He has 11, including a couple of 3-pointers in this third quarter. And he pulls the Pacers within one.
What about Jalen Rose? 1 for 6, just 4 points. Does have 6 assists.
Sprewell short. Davis, number 11.
Yeah, but there's a lot of time for Jalen Rose to get in this game. I mean, I think that Reggie Miller, who's always felt that his team feeds off of him, is going to look to try to set the tone here in the third quarter.
Miller threw a bad pass. Smits couldn't catch it, luckily. Charlie Ward touched it before it went out of bounds.
Charlie Ward is the guy that's moving right now, making it all happen for Jeff Van Gundy.
See if they try to get Smits back on the low post. Been unstoppable today down there. Jackson, plenty of time to measure the three, maybe too much time. Dudley hauls it down.
Well, remember, it was a barrage of threes that killed Philadelphia. Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward continues to play aggressive basketball, taking it right to the rim before Indiana can set the defense. He has 8.
The frustrating thing for Larry Bird is where are his big guys helping out against this penetration? They don't have to guard you. They don't have to guard against Marcus Camby.
Offensive board, Dale Davis off the Rose miss, and his putback is there. Davis quietly having an excellent game for Indiana. Meanwhile, the Pacers forgot about that big guy, 7'4", that scored 21 points in the first half. He's got only 1 shot in this third quarter.
What they've been doing to help the small guys get inside is isolate Rick Smith up high. He's not been able to get his big body down there.
In the first round of the '90 playoffs, the Knicks dropped the first 2 games of their series against the Celtics, but then came roaring back to win 3 straight, including the 5th and deciding game at the Boston Garden. Patrick Ewing with a clinching 3-pointer, and Larry Bird each had 31 points in Game 5 to lead their team. Stu Jackson and the Knicks beating the Celtics after losing the first 2. And that was a best-of-5 series. This is a best-of-7.
That series back in 1990, one of the bleakest days in Celtic history. Larry Bird missed a reverse dunk in the closing moments that would have iced the game for him, and Ewing's clincher. Oh, what a block by Davis.
But right into the hands of Ward. 3 to shoot, 2 to shoot. Sprewell lost it on the way up, and a shot clock violation.
They're going to call a foul.
Whoa.
Larry Bird, he's going to get a technical. He is upset. There's been a long history of calls that have gone against this Indiana team in this building. And Bird felt that technical foul on Crozier early on. That's a tough call right there.
Well, he got him when he got his hands back on the basketball. Miller knocked it out. It came right back to him. Sprewell just continued that motion, and the crowd is in it now.
Our Memorial Day weekend NBA coverage continues tomorrow. Showtime at 3 Eastern. Then Game 4 of the Western Finals between Shaq and the Lakers and Scottie Pippen and the Blazers. 3 o'clock Eastern time for Showtime tomorrow, and then Game 4, the Lakers and the Blazers. What a game last night, huh?
Yeah, terrific game for the Lakers in getting off to a real rough start, rebounding, and then Portland getting back into it, looking for more of that tomorrow.
Nice pass.
Smith, skip pass to Miller. And a foot on the line, it's a 2. Long range 2, Reggie Miller. He's teed up by Bob Delaney. Wanted a foul call and was still angry about the foul called on him a moment ago against Sprewell. And so Miller gets the tee.
All Reggie Miller is asking for is consistency. Said if you're going to call the reach in on one end on the exact same play, why doesn't it come back and work for me on the other end?
It cost him a point as Houston sinks the technical. Let's check with Jim.
Tom, Bill must read lips, because that's exactly what he said. It's the same way on both ends. You got to call it. Bob Delaney didn't want to hear that. Tom?
All right, New York with the ball. Charlie Ward, you know, with the big guys out, you can't afford turnovers, and New York has not turned it over in the last 14 minutes. Larry Johnson, tough shot.
Well, Larry Johnson has really developed that left-hand half hook against Dale Davis. 6 1/4 for Johnson.
He's 3 for 3 in this third quarter, and New York has a 4-point advantage. Miller will shoot 2.
And just sits there and stares right back at Bob Delaney and says, now that's got to be a foul.
Reggie Miller quick off the dribble, and he just trips over the feet of Charlie Ward, goes to the floor, back at the free throw line, but the crowd is on him, and this is the way that Reggie likes it the most.
Indiana's just attempted 4 free throws in the game. They've hit them all, the best free throw shooting team in the NBA, while New York is 8 of 10.
They're also the best three-point shooting team in the NBA, and it's mind-boggling why they're not attacking the basket more. With the dearth of big men that the Knicks are plagued with right now, take it to the basket, get to the foul line, make the shorter Knicks have to converge and collapse. That'll give you better three-point looks anyway.
Reggie Miller now with 15 points, 10 in the quarter.
Everything that the Knicks do, they have to do quickly, and then they have an advantage with that small lineup. Larry Johnson holds.
And shoots an air ball. Dudley kept it alive. Here's Sprewell for 3. And rebounded by Davis.
Chris Dudley has outscored Rick Smits this quarter.
That goes along with being an all-around good guy with years.
Ward swipes it. Ward still pushing. Now he delivers to Sprewell. Got it.
That's the Knicks basketball that they have to play right now. That's what they did in last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Defense, leading the transition opportunities, and Sprewell on the run.
And Charlie Ward with the steal and then the delivery. Reggie Miller over the top of the backboard and out of bounds to the Knicks.
Reggie trying to keep him close, but it's been high energy, up-tempo basketball that's gotten the New York Knicks on the lead, and every time they get a mistake or force one, they're trying to get in that high percentage area. Early offense.
And Rick Smits, who had 21 in the first half, still has attempted only 1 shot in the third quarter.
Sprewell, a foul against Jalen Rose, and Bill, the thing that you like to talk about is footwork, and you don't see it with Jalen Rose on that defensive possession.
Well, this is an incredibly skilled and talented player, and when we were meeting with Larry Bird before the game, Larry was talking about the focus, the concentration, and Jalen's necessity to bring it every game. Jalen got popped in the mouth last game, but the mouth shouldn't have anything to do with your footwork. Jalen Rose to the bench. Jalen had to go and get a new cap put on one of his upper front teeth there. They're very painful, but certainly shouldn't keep you from playing much, much better defense.
Derek McKee replaces Jalen Rose for Indiana. Second free throw no good by Sprewell. He has 21 in the game.
Aggressive quarter for Sprewell, Johnson, and Allen Houston.
Dale Davis says, where's the whistle? Everybody stopped as it looked like he got assaulted.
Dale with 10 points and 14 rebounds. A double-double for Indiana.
Well, for the Knicks, they need more separation. It's only a 3-point ball game, and their biggest lead was in that first quarter, and Indiana overcame it. Houston.
Allen Houston, yes. Little finger roll. It rolled around the rim and fell through for Allen, who has 18. Sprewell with 21. Houston with 18 to lead New York. Smits with 21. Miller with 15. Davis with 10 for Indiana. Rick Smits.
Beautiful. What a stroke.
Only his second shot of the quarter. He has 23 points.
He had to go way out on the rim to get that one.
Rick Smits is not the type of player that gets his own shots, especially the perimeter shots. Somebody Jackson.
But my point is, why have they forgotten about it? Why haven't they been getting him some
Go
shots?
ask Mark Jackson. Go ask Larry Bird.
Dudley stripped away by McKee. New York gets it back with 5 to shoot. Rick Smits has been unstoppable today for Indiana, inside or outside. Shows you his touch. He has 23 on 11 of 17. 63-60 with 2:53 remaining in the third quarter. Tom Hammond, Bill Walton, Steve Snapper Jones, and Jim Gray. Let's check in with Jim.
All right, Tom, well, there was an incident just about 3 trips down the court. Latrell Sprewell missed that three-pointer. After he missed, he turned around and was inadvertently tripped by Rick Carlisle as he starts to run away. There it is. He gets tangled on the foot. Carlisle's foot goes out. Latrell Sprewell was very annoyed by what had gone on. Came down a couple of times, pointing over at Carlisle. Carlisle spoke to Bob Delaney, and the officials have decided what they're going to do about it. Let's listen in.
For me, it was my fault. I put my foot out. You know, unintentionally tripped them, but they're saying on tape they've got best.
Unintentional? Well, it's something obviously to be aware of. What we'll do is let's talk to Spree to get Spree down.
I already did that.
Okay, so we're okay.
Good.
So, and you know what? I would think that that'll never happen again because we're aware of it now. When you were doing this thing.
Then during the timeout, Rick Carlisle came out. He apologized to Bob Delaney to apologize to Latrell Sprewell. They're going to get to Sprewell with the apology to try and calm him down. Tom, a lot going on down here.
Yeah, there's never a loss for action when the Knicks and the Pacers play, as we well know.
Well, a lot of emotion, and, you know, the Knicks know they need to have everything right for them, and anything that's distracting and maybe giving Indiana the edge, and they're going to be concerned about Houston.
Great ball fake, shot good. Miller bit on the fake, leaving Houston open to put in number 20.
Allen just looks so much stronger as this game has worn on. Doesn't seem to have the hesitation to his game, the lack of balance caused by that painful left ankle sprain.
Well, Kurt Thomas is in the ball game now, and they're trying to go pick and roll Miller-Smith.
Bad pass, McKee, Charlie Ward there again. Here's Sprewell. Ward for three. And rebounded by Davis.
Now, they were on their feet and ready to yell Charlie, Charlie, but it just didn't stay.
Very little offensive rebound. Steal by Larry Johnson.
Houston gives it to Ward. Good.
The Pacers are giving the Knicks life. Turnovers, missed shots, allowing the Knicks to run out.
Now, it's very aggressive defense, and particularly with the hand. They're getting deflections. They're getting a piece of the ball. Miller.
That's a tough shot.
It is a tough shot. Reggie Miller baseline. He has 17, but the fast break points, as you saw, have been all New York's way. And once again, Charlie Ward is making a significant but unsung contribution to this New York effort. Larry Johnson winded. He wants out of the game. Sprewell.
Van Gundy should just ignore Larry Johnson. Just turn on. I didn't see you, Larry.
Kind of like Chris Childs ignored that timeout call the other night.
Yeah, Reggie Miller is keeping him in the ball game now. It's a 7-point lead for the Knicks, but the hot hand for the Stripes is Reggie Miller. See if they find him. 9 on the clock.
Van Gundy is darting the pick and roll over there.
Well, Travis Best is going to shoot this.
Gave it up to Smith. Blocked by who? By Charlie Ward.
This is always embarrassing. When the 7'4" guy standing there wide open on the baseline, Charlie Ward comes and sends it totally back in the other direction. Base.
1 on the shot clock when they come back.
How about a lob to Dale Davis at the basket?
No, he can't. The shot blocker Charlie Ward's in there.
Tremendous third quarter defensively for Charlie Ward.
Didn't they say he was too short for the NFL? Obviously not for the NBA.
Size has nothing to do with it. It's not how high you jump. It's where you are and when you jump.
Shot clock violation before the Dale Davis foul. Patrick Ewing's got his striped shirt on as well.
Larry Bird is incensed. He has seen this happen to his team so many times in this building.
Now, the game is a long way from over, but certainly the third quarter is a way that Ward and the New York Knicks want to play, and Bird loses it as Charlie Ward goes down.
Larry Bird is saying if a guy just falls down, it doesn't mean there's a foul. He just fell down.
Now, Charlie Ward is losing his balance as he starts, and then he just continues.
Let me clean my glasses real quick.
Ward hits the first of 2. He has 11 points and numerous hustle plays.
Well, Bird was proud of the team from game 2 because they played terrible, the Pacers did, and still won. It has usually not been the trademark for Indiana.
Ward's free throws, and New York has equaled its biggest lead. They're up by 9. Final minute of the third quarter.
Huge point total for the New York Knicks in the quarter. 29, never steal.
Charlie Ward and Larry Johnson throughout the quarter.
Thomas couldn't handle it, but Larry Johnson in the right spot. And New York sets it up. Plenty of time. Game clock shows 28. 10 to shoot.
Nice pass, Ward.
Thomas put it down there where everybody could get at it, and they stripped it away.
That's the only guy that hasn't been in this little barrage, and he got happy. He asked for the ball and couldn't control it, and then fouled out of it. So all of that good stuff goes to waste on the turnover and foul by Kurt Thomas.
First turnover in 20 minutes, though, since early in the second quarter by New York.
Kurt Thomas got a little frustrated when they started Chris Dudley instead of him at the center position today. He really hasn't seemed to be his normal sharp self, Kurt Thomas.
I don't know that how sharp he usually is. He's more like a bludgeon.
How can you say that about Kurt Thomas?
Charlie Ward with a takedown of Travis Best.
And now Van Gundy's got a big decision to make, because usually after the third quarter, he brings Charlie Ward out. But Charlie is playing so well right now.
Well, it's either that or Chris Childs has got to come in and be an extension of what Charlie Ward has done.
But we've seen time after time, guys who get hot and they get taken out. We saw it in the Portland game last night. They just benched all the Blazers who were playing well. They never got it back. Last week, Miami's Alonzo Mourning is playing the best game of his life, and they take him out, and they never got back.
Did you kick the TV last night?
Don't even get me going there, Steve.
4 seconds left. Well, Chris Childs lost his voice. Maybe he can't ask to come in. Out of bounds with 2.1 remaining in the third.
Well, the best way to get in sometimes is take your stuff off and just head up to the scores table. You don't have to say anything.
Nice move, Sprewell.
Got the shot away, but no good as the third quarter ends. As New York outscored the Pacers 30-22 in that third quarter. Latrell Sprewell has 23 points, and Allen Houston has 20. And at the end of in game three, New York leads Indiana 71-64, looking for their first win in this Eastern Conference Finals. And Woody Allen in his normal courtside seat. We've already seen Spike Lee here as well. Chris Rock's about 4 feet away from me. He was counting me to commercial one time. Rick Moranis is also here, and so is Ed Bradley. And the legendary GE chairman Jack Welch on hand, America's #1 businessman. And Bill, just in case you want to say something, our boss. And look at this. Here's an assist to Jack Welch. Charlie Ward into the crowd. And Jack preventing injury, saving another Knicks player from going to the hospital.
Well, what does Mr. Welch always say? The 3 keys: positive cash flow, happy customers, and happy employees. And that's what's happening today.
Fourth quarter underway.
Now let's see if the Knicks can keep up that defensive energy, continue to force the turnovers, stay in that open court game.
Austin Crozier starts the fourth quarter for Indiana and passes out to Best. But before that, a 3-second violation and another Indiana turnover. Turnovers have been important today. Indiana has turned it over now 15 times to only 5 for New York.
Yeah, Bird is disgusted because he sat down. He stood up the entire third quarter. Yeah, I'm going to have a seat and see if they can get me excited to stand up.
Well, what's got him disgusted, besides the referees, what's Austin Crozier and Derek McKee doing out there? Besides getting faced up,
Larry
turning the ball over.
Johnson misses a layup.
That point-blank range should have had that one, and they can't afford to give any away. Indiana still got a run in them. Jalen Rose.
Rose goes glass over Allen Houston, only his 6th point of the game. Jalen averaging throughout the playoffs 20 a game and had 24 in game 2. But only 6 points today. He does have 6 assists.
Van Gundy stays with Charlie Ward.
Sprewell.
You know, the key to keeping their defensive energy up has been their offensive efficiency. So they've been able to continue to score the ball, see good things happen when they put pressure on, see if they can just wear Indiana down in the fourth. Looking for McKee.
Jalen Rose takes it to the rim and draws the foul from Larry Johnson.
Allen Houston's defense off the ball on Derek McKee to keep him from getting that post up, just terrific. Larry Johnson had to come and put the hammer foul down, and now Rose has got to earn it from the foul line.
Free throw good, and don't forget Memorial Day weekend NBA coverage continuing tomorrow. Showtime at 3 Eastern. The game 3:30. Game 4 of the Western Finals. Shaq and the Lakers, Scotty and the Blazers will go at it one more time. Free throws make it 73-68. The New York lead cut to 5.
Travis Best or Mark Jackson have any sort of influence on Charlie Ward's fine floor game this afternoon?
You know, when good things are happening, the coach stays with you, and he's staying with Charlie Ward, and because he's been so aggressive.
Sprewell pivoting out of the double team to lay it in. He has 27 points on 11 of 19 shooting.
The Knicks are moving quicker, forcing the Pacers to take it out of the net. Then they're walking it up. The Knicks swarming on defense.
Sprewell's been silent in the fourth quarter, but maybe not today, as Best misses from outside and Thomas rips it away.
Well, remember that Sprewell said, I just didn't feel it. He's feeling it today. So, I mean, it's a whole different attitude from Sprewell at the offensive end steal.
Quick hands by Travis Best, racing against Ward. Best puts it up. No good, and an offensive foul. Travis Best, as Charlie Ward stayed right with him defensively, moving his feet to get in position. And an offensive foul will give it to New York. And Latrell Sprewell coming to the fore here in the fourth quarter, which has been a sore point for Sprewell and the Knicks. Here he spins free of the double team to lay it in. And then Travis Best stripping the ball away and looked to be heading in for an easy bucket, but watch Charlie Ward race to get into position and take the charge. It'll be New York ball when we return. The Knicks up 75-68. With 9:41 remaining, New York holds a 75-68 advantage.
Latrell Sprewell has been a red hot center position today through the playoffs. The Knicks have been dominant with Ewing playing very productively.
Well, Larry Johnson wanted a breather and finally got one, and now they've got two big guys in, and this could be problems for New York. Thomas and Dudley. Houston
steps under, can't hit. Out of bounds Indiana's way when Marcus Camby was injured in the second quarter, and he's been taken to the hospital for an MRI. New York had a 3-point lead. They've outscored Indiana by 4 points since Camby left.
I don't think that the Knicks have any problems. The Pacers are the ones in big trouble here. Larry Bird cannot believe the lack of productivity from his front line today.
Sprewell with a foul.
Too much time and too much Reggie Miller and a hot Smith. This could still be a tough ball game for the New York Knicks. They've got to continue to force the defensive issue. Charlie Ward's out of the ball game, and Chris Childs is in.
And Larry Bird's taking the one guy who's playing for him up front out of the game. Dale Davis, a very strong game, but McKee, Crozier, Perkins, Smith, very little.
6 on the clock for Jalen Rose. They triple him.
He gets it to Best. Ball movement to Perkins. And with the shot clock going off, he shoots an air ball, which will be a 24-second violation.
Well, you can tell from the look at Bird, he does not like the way this game is going. But, I mean, again, you look at the scoreboard. It's only a 7-point game. 8 minutes, 48 seconds to go. A ton of time. And he's trying to get it in himself. He's standing up again.
Van Gundy has proclaimed the Pacers the best offensive team in basketball. They have 68 points. What's that all about?
Sprewell. You want some fourth quarter points? Sprewell has 6 already in the fourth and 29 in the game.
Headlines in the paper said all they need is a free day, and he is free and easy.
It's been a scoring spree for Latrell.
Who wants to shoot?
7 on the clock.
Travis Best. Sprewell has New York's last 4 field goals. He's the only Knick to score from the field in the last 6 minutes.
Is Reggie in foul trouble?
No.
Reggie has 1 foul.
What did he do wrong? Why is he on the bench? He can't be tired.
You're coaching?
I'm just asking a question.
Waiting for that dramatic moment.
I think that Reggie will be back in within the next minute, and they'll try to make a big charge. They've got a lot of defensive players in there now trying to shut things down.
Derek McKee missing a three, and the long rebound to Child.
Pacers continue to play into the Knicks' hands, shooting long three-pointers. Derek McKee, Sam Perkins. And now a foul on McKee, holding Allen Houston away from the ball.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to make up your mind when the other team is scoring points, how they're scoring. If you need to score points, you need to have your offensive players back on the floor, even if you don't think they're doing the job as well as they could defensively. Houston.
Determined drive to the basket, and he got it. Allen Houston lowered his head, and nothing was going to stop him, and he's given New York its biggest lead of the game. Houston with 22.
And you called for Reggie Miller, and he is about to get in the ball game as we get a foul against Chris Dudley.
And Reggie makes his appearance as McKee trots to the bench.
And they're going to get Larry Johnson back in the ball game as well. Dudley coming out.
Dudley just picked up his 5th foul. It's not good when you have more fouls than points. Is that right?
That's a very good observation.
What they like to do for Travis Best is give him pick and roll, and New York has been able to cut that off. Tough shot, Smith.
Good defense that time. Hand in his face from Thomas.
Kurt Thomas running the floor, too. They couldn't get it to him. And again, the patience that Chris Childs shows, exemplary.
Kick ball by Travis Best.
Jackson going to come back in the ball game, and Travis Best will go down.
Timeout at the 6:45 mark. New York leading 79-68. The NBA going this trip to the Garden too much today, trailing 79-68. Do you think Bill Russell, if he was watching, cackled when Charlie Ward rejected Rick Smith a while ago?
Bill Russell brought the shot clock to basketball in an era when goaltending was still allowed. The rule changes instilled because of Bill Russell's dominance and made the game better. But that's what Don Chaney has been all about. One of the legendary figures, University of Houston. Just a great, great man.
Makes the pass to Thomas, who dives to the rim for his first basket. Sprewell, Houston, and Ward had scored 21 in a row for New York before then.
Now remember all of the droughts that New York had in the Miami series. The reason they don't have them this afternoon, they continue to attack the basket. They're playing in a high percentage area, and they're allowing their opponent just one crack at it.
I don't know if the Knicks didn't score another point. I don't know if the Pacers could win this game.
Oh, don't get carried away, Bill.
There's 6 minutes left. They have 68 points.
Reggie Miller and Smith have both scored 12 in a quarter by themselves this afternoon. Larry Johnson.
Where's the rotation for the Knicks to move it? Larry Johnson looking to pass in that situation.
Jalen Rose and one.
When you drive like Larry Johnson just drove the ball, you got to think about finishing. He didn't want that shot. Here's a replay of Jalen Rose, and this is one of the few times that the Knicks have not stayed in front of their men, and they reach out, a little matador defense and a chance for a three-point play, and if three go in, it's suddenly a 10-point game, 5:46 to play.
Kurt Thomas with that reach in, committing a foul, and Jalen Rose misses the free throw. He has scored all 6 Indiana points in this quarter.
Remember last week when it was Chris Childs that kept the New York Knicks in that game on Sunday. Only guy that scored, and then they finally got the contribution elsewhere.
Allen Houston a miss. Rose attacking Houston. Here's Smith. Thomas bodying against the 7'4" Duncan Dutchman, who backs him down and puts it through. He has 25 points.
Finally, some signs of life. Finally attacking the basket. Jalen Rose drives in, gets fouled, gets to the line. Smith's a back to the basket move.
Now the Knicks cannot stop being aggressive. Allen Houston, 8 on the clock.
Finds Larry Johnson with 1 to shoot. He got it away, and he hit it. Larry Johnson, LJ, clutch bucket with a shot clock expiring.
At his best with the clock at 0.
Rose fouled by Childs. He'll shoot 2.
There was game 3 last year where Larry Johnson hit the controversial 4-point play to give him the victory. Now he comes and gives them a cushion here. That extends the lead to 11.
Still a lot of time to play in this ball game, and Van Gundy is not comfortable. He knows his team is playing well, but this is a very dangerous team they're playing against. This is a similar situation. Philadelphia, Indiana, 11, 8-point lead. All of a sudden, a barrage of threes go in, and it changes the complexion of the game.
Rose only 3 of 11 shooting, and he's now missed 2 free throws in a row.
He had a huge night from the line in game 2. 10 of 12, gets the second one.
Jalen makes it a 10-point game. He has 11. Sprewell. Tough shot, can't hit it. Mark Jackson takes it the other way for the Pacers. Sam Perkins. Rose has been the man of the moment for the Pacers.
Yeah, the body language of Rose says he wants in it now.
And he shoots, and got it. Just popped it in over Larry Johnson from out on the floor. Jalen Rose coming alive in this 4th quarter with 9 points in the quarter, keeping Indiana in it. 83-75 with 4 minutes left. East, and coming up tomorrow, showtime at 3 o'clock Eastern tips things off. Then we go to game 4 in the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers and the Blazers. Then on Monday, the highly anticipated rematch of last year's WNBA championship as the New York Liberty face the Houston Comets. And following the WNBA, Hannah and company tip off the action at 5 Eastern. And then we'll be on hand for game 4, the Pacers and the Knicks. NBA Conference Finals all Memorial Weekend long here on NBC.
Well, the Pacers have made a spirited and valiant comeback here. They've done it despite the fact that Reggie Miller, since re-entering the game at the 7-10 point of the 4th quarter, has only taken 1 shot. He is scoreless during this comeback.
Well, the guys that have got to deliver the goods now as Charlie Ward passes up the 3.
Instead, lays it in. Charlie Ward continues his fearless play, has 14 points, averaging 8 a game in the playoffs. Reggie Miller will shoot 2, fouled by Allen Houston, and Reggie is so good at making those fouls look worse than they are.
Wait a second, he just got assaulted there. He's lucky they don't have to bring the wheelchair back from Marcus Camby's trip to the hospital.
Terrific effort by Charlie Ward to give him a 10-point advantage. The crowd, special message for Reggie Miller.
But Charlie Ward, though, taking advantage of the Pacers double teaming Allen Houston. So he's getting that ball wide open. Somebody's running at him. He's pump faking and then getting in the lane, creating all kinds of opportunities. One of the great free throw shooters of all time, Reggie Miller, connects.
8-point game.
19 in the game for Reggie Miller, averaging 24 a contest throughout the playoffs.
Reggie having words with Latrell Sprewell.
Allen Houston.
This is a matchup Houston has to take advantage of.
Right on cue. Allen Houston shoots it over him. Mark Jackson to score. 24 for Houston, 29 for Sprewell. Jalen Rose again trying to take over the game and draws another foul.
This guy is a difficult player to deal with when the game gets close or they need something to happen. He likes it that way. He's got something to prove, and even though he won that Most Improved Player award, he's got his eyes on a championship.
NBA's Most Improved Player has 10 points in the quarter now. Are you surprised, though, that they're going to Jalen instead of Reggie Miller?
No, because Jalen is the guy best suited on this team for creating his own shot. And with the Knicks playing a superior defense today than what they were able to accomplish in games 1 and 2 in Indianapolis, they're having to create off their own dribble, and that's Jalen's strength, something the Pacers have not had in years past. And while Reggie is vastly improved at it this season, it's still not the best part of his game.
87-79, just under the 3-minute mark.
11 and a quarter for Rose. Looking for Houston. Tough catch.
Made a nice catch and then drew a crowd and then drew a foul.
Larry Bird's already sat down on this one.
Clock shows 2:47. New York continues to lead by 8.
Able to control this game throughout the second half.
Another reason New York has the lead is a decisive victory at the point guard. The matchup between Charlie Ward and Mark Jackson. Ward has outscored Jackson 14-3, has 4 rebounds to 1, 8 assists to 5, and has just turned the ball over 1 time to 3 turnovers by Jackson.
And in games 1 and 2, Mark Jackson dominated the play between them. So here at home at the Garden, it is Charlie Ward with payback and Allen Houston at the line. Well, Allen Houston said, we not only have to win Game 3, we have to win Game 4. We have got to get back in this thing, and the only way they can do it is to show the gritty play that they have displayed here in the second half.
Trailing by 1 at halftime, led by the spark of Charlie Ward and the scoring of Sprewell in Houston. New York has taken a 10-point edge. Reggie Miller misses a 3 out of bounds to the Knicks.
All they do is shoot threes. There's no movement, there's no cutting, there's no multiple players handling the ball. They just stand behind the line and let it fly.
But, you know, we have seen in these playoffs where teams trick themselves into thinking that the way to win a ball game is with the three-point shot.
As opposed to that play, they bring it up one side, go to their main guy, Allen Houston. He draws some defense. They swing it to the other side, and Sprewell delivers. Team basketball.
Sprewell with 8 in the fourth quarter.
Look at Sprewell's feet moving. He's going to pick up the foul, however, on the drive by Jalen Rose. Ball movement, player movement, and good decisions by Sprewell and Houston have done away with that fourth quarter nonsense about, well, they haven't scored when they needed to.
Generally, when you guard Latrell Sprewell straight up out in front of the basket, you want to make him go left. You allow him to go right, he's going to get it every time.
Let's check with Jim Gray.
All right, Tom, just a bit of an update. Dr. Norman Scott, seated here at the game, still anxiously awaiting word from Beth Israel Hospital. He has not yet received the MRI results. He is hopeful that this is not season-ending for Marcus Camby. He went on to say that if Patrick Ewing improves as much as he did from Thursday to today, by Monday's game, that he expects that Patrick Ewing would be able to play and would be effective. Tom?
All right, Jim, so Marcus Camby, injured knee, second quarter today. Results of the MRI still not back. Allen Houston, tough shot, no good. Offensive board by Sprewell, and he's fouled. Latrell Sprewell with 31 points in the game and a chance to make it 33.
Now remember in the Miami series how agitated, and even in this series, Van Gundy was about that rebounding. These guys have really done a great job on the board this afternoon. 8 rebounds, and he's always talking about our best players, Allen Houston and Sprewell. They've got a rebound, 8 rebounds this afternoon for Sprewell.
And 32 points.
How tough is this Knicks team, though, with everything going against them? Down 0-2, the endless list of injuries. Players ignoring their coach calling timeout at critical junctures of the previous game. Yet they come out and basically out-hustle, they outwork the Indiana Pacers.
Jalen Rose, 13 in this quarter, 17 in the game. He finally came alive.
Well, we might remind Bill that that was the 13 that they were down. So if they didn't score, Jalen Rose would have tied this game up.
Yeah, while the Knicks have gone on to score 11 more.
Rose. There's Jalen again.
You said they didn't have to score anymore. 15 for Rose.
And once again, it appears that home court will be powerful in this series. During the regular season and in the playoffs, the home team has won every meeting between these two, and New York leading here. Kurt Thomas gets the roll.
Charlie Ward, beautiful passing, hard, right into his wheelhouse.
Jalen Rose.
18.
And 22 in the game, 18 in the fourth.
Larry Bird knows this has been over for a while. He's been sitting down.
But you know what happened is they had individual stars in quarters, and they didn't have it collectively as the New York Knicks did in the third. Allen Houston would have missed.
Well, the Pacers, if they want to win this series, granted they still have the home court advantage, but they better start coming with a little bit of an edge, a little bit of anger.
Well, they're still going to have a 2-1 lead pending game 4 on Monday.
Well, what did you see here today that would lead you to believe that they would win the next game?
You could have said the same thing about the Knicks after those games in Indiana.
That's when they're at their best.
Discussion will continue.
Ball game in a knot. Remember at the start of the ball game and in the Showtime feature, Mark Jackson said, if we play with the necessary force and aggression, we can win anywhere against anybody. They did not bring that kind of heat today, and they are on the long end of the scoreboard.
Now, if you're going back to Showtime, let's talk about the core of the Knicks coming through. Sprewell in Houston. Jalen Rose almost keeps it alive.
Sprewell recovers.
Now they just kill the clock, and they have to foul one of the league's best pressure free throw shooters, who throws in a prayer that's answered.
Sprewell staying on his feet, fighting up, getting the ball back in, and they're able to get back to the free throw line. But that's all the Indiana Pacers could do right now, trying to make a steal. If they are successful, score quickly, but they've got to stop the clock. Childs to the line.
23.8 seconds remaining. And Childs. Austin Crozier, who started this series by scoring 22 points in the first game, fell to only 5, all at the free throw line, 0 of 8 from the floor in game 2, and another goose egg here in game 3. So he's gone steadily down 22-5 to 0 today. Timeout Indiana. It's 96-88 with only 23.8 seconds left. The NBA on NBC. From the bench, he had 19 points today, outplayed by Allen Houston as the final seconds tick off here at Madison Square Garden. In fact, only Rick Smits of the Pacers, who had a decisive individual matchup victory today, outplaying the Ewing replacements, but Mark Jackson was outplayed by Charlie Ward, and Allen Houston outplayed Reggie Miller. And Latrell Sprewell went wild. 32 points, 9 in the fourth quarter, and 8 rebounds.
20 points in the fourth quarter for Jalen Rose to make it look respectable on the scoreboard for the Indiana Pacers. And otherwise, it has been little else.
Tom, you mentioned at the outset of today's show that it was about the adjustments that Van Gundy was going to come up with. The best one that he had, you got Sprewell playing 46 minutes and Allen Houston playing 45. Don't ever take these guys out. You got the championship on the line right here. They can rest in the summertime.
Allen Houston with 28 points. Sprewell with 32, Houston with 28. And Charlie Ward, 14 points, 9 assists, and just 1 turnover. Rose some more. Why not? 26 in the game, 22 in the quarter for Jalen Rose. He has been all Indiana could muster here in the final period. 8.5 seconds remaining as we walk back to the Knicks free throw line.
Well, this will be an angry Indiana Pacer team.
We hope so.
Well, no, because as Larry Bird told them, you're letting a golden opportunity slip. They got bodies shipped off to the hospital, and, you know, they got problems out on the floor, and we don't take care of business. Boy, will they be laced. You going back for the interview?
But Reggie, where's the fire from him? Where's the instigation? Or where's Larry Bird coming out and getting these guys on edge? Patrick Ewing, happy that the team can get that victory. Incredibly crushed, though, that foot is bothering him once again.
Despite a rare Allen Houston free throw miss, good shooting, 2 misses. Good shooting by the Knicks today. 53% from the floor for the New York Knicks. And 75% at the free throw line. They lead with 7.7 seconds left.
7.7 seconds left. I'm Jim Gray back at the Garden. Good news for New York Knicks and their fans. The MRI is back from Beth Israel Hospital on Marcus Camby. It is a sprained medial capsule. There is no ligament damage. The ligament is fine. He is listed as day-to-day, and it is possible that he could play on Monday, as well as Patrick Ewing. Tom?
All right, Jim. So both Ewing and Camby will be day-to-day for Monday's game 4. As the Knicks face some potential adjustments as well. Austin Crozier hits a 3.
Now where's Anthony Mason to throw it inbounds?
It's a 3-point game.
Fortunately, they got Charlie Ward, who's outstanding at inbounds.
Delay of game. They finally get the ball in. Sprewell trying to get fouled. And they got somebody out of bounds, Travis Best.
Well, the Pacers are incensed here because Charlie Ward handed the ball to Latrell Sprewell.
You'd think that Reggie Miller would be in there to attempt a potential game-tying three. Academic now as the former quarterback, Charlie Ward, spots Chris Childs downfield to make the catch and let the clock tick away. Charlie Ward completing that final pass and once again played a big part in the Knicks' victory today. So New York gets a victory in the series to narrow the Indiana lead to 2-1, with the final score being 98-95. Reggie Miller, surprisingly perhaps, on the bench in the final minutes of the game as Indiana holds to Jalen Rose. They go to him constantly, and Jalen had 22 points in the fourth quarter, 26 overall, and Reggie Miller once again scoring 19 points. Miller did not have a field goal and just 2 points in that fourth and final quarter. Latrell Sprewell with 32 points, Allen Houston with 28, leading the New York attack, combining with 60 points as we go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Latrell Sprewell, 32 points. Latrell, you said it was your worst playoff game ever in Game 2. How did you manage to come back and be so effective today?
Well, just keep attacking. You know, I wanted to stay confident, and, you know, I knew how big this game was for our team. We didn't want to go down 3-0, and we feel like we got ourselves right back in the series now.
Are you surprised you were able to win without Marcus Camby and without Patrick Ewing?
I'm not surprised because we have a deep bench. That's the one thing about our team. We have guys that can come in and play for us, so I'm not surprised. The big thing is Larry, myself, and Allen stepped it up when we needed to and got the job done for us.
Now, they're both day-to-day. Could you guys win without them? Could you win a series in 4 games?
I think we've proven that today. But in order to do that, we have to play extremely well. You know, this is a good team, and we have to bring our A games if we're going to, you know, beat this team without Patrick and Marcus.
All right, Latrell, great game today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Tom, back to you.
All right, Jim, Latrell with 9 points in the fourth quarter finishes with a game-high 32 points as New York closes the gap on Indiana but still trails 2-1 with Game 4 coming up on Monday. Final score today, New York 98, Indiana 95. Join us tomorrow for more NBA.